Record-setting basketball coach Bobby Knight said, "The will to succeed is important, but what's more important is the will to prepare." Today we're going to look at the basics to prepare you for future STEAM classes, class projects, and your own projects. Call it a STEAM life hacks, if you will. With that being said, let's get started. Alright, so today is basically a life hacks video for STEAM class and school projects. We're going to be going over some tips, tricks, basic things like duct tape, scissors, cardboard, rulers. Basically, all the stuff you'll use on a school project, we're going to show you how to do it better. Measuring tips. No heavy equipment required. We'll keep it simple today. So, for measuring tools, what we use most will just be rulers, yardsticks, and tape measures for measuring stuff that's not straight. A lot of times, these are just going to be straight edges, unless we're checking results or we're trying to get pieces to match up. When we're testing projects, we'll usually lay out an area on the floor first and always start from the same point. It makes life a lot easier that way. If you know where you're starting from, you can pre-measure your distances to check answers quickly. If you need practice measuring, check out my measurement video. There's not a whole lot of tips or tricks with the rulers. If you don't have a ruler for a straight edge, a folded piece of paper works great. If you just need something to mark. Just match the edges up, a nice crisp fold. If that's not thick enough, double it up. There you go. All right, a lot of times we're doing stuff with bottles or other round objects. That's where the flexible tape measures come in. Go right around. If you don't have one to measure like the distance around a bottle or something like that, a strip of paper works really well anywhere you can't get a ruler. So if you don't have a flexible tape measure, you could even tape that on. Oh, I need a bigger piece of paper. So I'll tape a couple pieces of paper together. Tape works too, but paper is just easier to work with. All right, our impromptu ruler, or flexible tape measure ruler. You always wrap it around whatever you're working with. Mark where the ends touch. That's right on the fold. Now I can lay it flat and I could use a more traditional ruler if I need to make something. Something else I see a lot of students struggling with. They try and make the same parts over and over again. They're measuring it out. Say they're making fins for a rocket. Measure over and over. Just get some cardstock, something a little bit heavier. Make a template. That means just make one pattern that you can trace over and over. If you're making a rocket fin. Also, put it near the edge of the paper. You'd be surprised how many people start out. We'll do this one with highlighter. They'll put something in the very center, cut it out, and then wonder why they keep running out of paper or why everything's crooked. One, you're cutting a hole out of the center of your paper and you're wasting a lot. You can't use it for anything else. Two, you passed up a good chance to use a straight factory edge. If you ever have a perfectly straight edge or a factory edge, use that instead. It's going to be better most of the time than what you can use to cut with a pair of scissors. So yeah, use the straight edges. Start your shapes near the edges so you'll have more for later. If your material's thin enough, you could always stack it in layers, almost like a notebook, and cut all your layers at the same time so all your pieces match up. That'll save you a lot of time and it'll keep everything more precise and balanced, which is important for a lot of projects. All right, no STEAM class would be complete without tape. Now, we don't use a lot of clear tape because it's not very strong, but it does help in some cases where you need something clear. We go through a lot of masking tape. It's great for prototyping and making stuff quick because you can rip it by hand real easy. You can do a lot of neat stuff with it, and it's good for sticking to walls and projects, and you can peel it back off usually without causing too much damage. All right, now it wouldn't be STEAM class without duct tape. It comes in a lot of varieties, colors, flavors, you name it, strengths, styles, all different kinds. We'll take a look at what's best for what project. All right, tape advice. Start with the light stuff. All right, clear tape. The closer you hold it in to the sharp edge, the better chance you have of tearing it off neat. Pretty simple. If it gets all tangled, you can usually untape it, pop the device apart. So if it winds back in, breaks off, whatever gets stuck, you can't reach it. You can usually work the seam and pull it apart, get it unstuck, reload it, refill it, do whatever you need to do. It'll snap right back together. That way you don't have to go run and ask for help. Good to go. All right, masking tape. We use it a lot because you can tear it so easy with your fingers. You can use it for a lot of neat projects. Light shines through. No real tricks at this level. We'll show you some neat ideas you can make with it though. So that's why we use it. All right, everybody's favorite duct tape. If you have a hard time tearing it, don't feel bad, it takes a little bit of practice. Certain brands can be harder than others. It's nice you can rip it into thin strips. Do what you want to do. Tape it to something, like a table. Pull it tight. Then you can use your scissors to cut an exact line. I like hanging it off the edge of the table. Makes life a little bit easier later, but don't have that on camera. Now, there are plenty of sites dedicated to building things with duct tape or any kind of tape and cardboard. So I'm just gonna show you some basics to help you with STEAM class. Say you need to join two pieces and you need them to hinge or flex. You could just run a piece of tape down and you got a basic hinge. Tape it from both sides, strength, and you're good to go. Make a nice strong hinge, make it collapsible. Something else you can do, if you want a part to not be sticky, make yourself some duct tape rope or ribbon, fold it over on itself, twist it, roll it, whatever you want to do. But I can make it like a suitcase, I could add a little handle. Don't think you always just have to use it on a flat surface. Now this will not be very strong this way. There are some stronger ways I could attach it, but for most projects, that works pretty well. If you ever want it stronger, make sure you're going around an edge so you're getting it from one side, so it just can't be pulled from one direction. That piece folded over the side is on a lot tougher than this piece just laying flat. It'll rip this side off, but it stays on no matter how much I pull on it. That's why boxes, the tape goes over the edge on both sides. Adding more layers of duct tape going the same direction over top doesn't make a big difference. But if I had it going another way, and I wrap it around so it's going 90 degrees from the first piece, that'll allow a lot more strength. If I wanted to make it stronger from the beginning, I should really split this Put a piece on either side and tape both sides. Then I could add the tape going the 90 degrees from it to really seal it on. So many times I see students wrapping projects in duct tape. It's just adding unnecessary weight, wasting materials. If you're smart about it, change directions and make sure it's grabbing onto new areas, you can make it significantly stronger. Let's see. I'm giving a lot. And you can see which side broke first. If I'd have had more tape over here, it would have held longer. Once you get used to using duct tape, you'd be amazed at what you can make. Although I wouldn't try a kayak just yet. Glue. Don't eat it. All right, another material that we use a lot of is glue. And three basic kinds. Glue sticks, which are good. Elmer's glue, the strong stuff, or white glue, better. But for steam, hot glue guns are best. They're quicker, they're stronger, and if you're careful, you can do a lot with them. And they also come in mini. While glue sticks are not ideal, there are some things you can do to help out on projects. One, if you need to make something stronger, like regular paper, you can laminate. Go around edges, get a good coating on there, and you can put a second layer on. And glue sticks are good for stuff like this. Like say I was making a rocket fin. And just like making plywood where they glue wood chips together, we're gluing a couple layers of paper together. And we'll go for 4. Now, so we have 4 layers. The nice thing, the glue dries pretty quick. Stuck to the table there. Now, if this were a rocket fin, this top edge would be getting a lot of force and it'd be hitting those bare edges. If I'd been thinking ahead of time, I would have made my last piece a square that I could fold right over. And I could still do that and trim it. But sometimes you just need to reinforce one edge. So I could hit both sides real quick. I got to clean my table. And I could just take and fold over an extra slice of paper over that edge. Now there's no seams for the wind to hit. So that's something we do a lot with glue sticks. If we need to make a layer, they make it a lot quicker than your white glue. And it turns out a lot thinner than if you use hot glue. So quick rocket fin, laminated layers. Laminating is probably the best use for glue sticks. That or just for testing something quick that doesn't need really any strength. Just make sure you twist it down before you put the cap on. You're gonna lose a lot. All right, white school glue. Honestly, I don't use this stuff a whole lot because it takes a while to dry, makes a mess, and you just have kids putting all over their hands so they can peel it off like dead skin later. That's probably the best use for it, other than this fun recycling project. Usually take and save a bunch of old one-sided worksheets that haven't been used or extras. You could do the same with homework, whatever. Cut them into whatever shape you like. I went with these boring rectangles, all turned the same way. And we're just gonna throw a binder clip or 2 on there. Hold everything nice and tight. And we'll add a little bit of white glue, actually a lot of white glue across the top. And the better that edge is lined up, the neater that edge is, the better. All right, I should have made sure this glue actually worked, because you can see there's plenty of glue in there, but it doesn't want to come out. It's not letting the air out. That's where you'll probably have to unscrew the top, take it over to the sink, rinse that out, poke a pencil through a toothpick, whatever you got, clean it out, then it'll work just fine. Here's another reason we don't use school glue much. So we wash out, clean it out, but nothing is still coming through the cap. Just barely. So you gotta go through the next step of taking the orange part off and cleaning it out. And maybe cleaning out any dry glue. And this can be a pain. You might wanna get paper towel, something to grab on with. You can make yourself a little duct tape handle. I think I'm gonna go for the latter. So I'm going with the duct tape option. Twist the bottle, just keep trying to unscrew it, and eventually you're just gonna have to pull it off. And that's where the duct tape gives you extra grip. And you can see, there's our problem. It's rock solid. So we're spending most of our time trying to clean this out and not actually using glue, which is why I only use it on certain projects. 3 days later, we are ready to put that glue on there after getting everything cleaned out. So basically we're just making a little notepad. And this is the only, to me, good use of plain white glue. Now, I have a lot of it around. I do use it, but not just as plain glue. I often use that as an ingredient in making different projects and experiments. But when you're done, this is a well-used notebook or tablet. The pages just tear off one at a time, and you can customize the print if you want. The hot glue tips and tricks are being moved to their own video to save some time. So in STEAM class, we use a lot of cardboard because it's basically free. There's tons of it available in the cafeteria and other places. And you can make lots of mistakes with it. It's pretty forgiving. But the one thing you have to realize is not all cardboard is the same. You have thin pieces, like cereal box, shoe boxes, or this is the back of a tablet. Then you have what's called corrugated cardboard, which is what most of your boxes are made out of. And if you look at the edge, you can see it has the different layers, top, bottom, and the center. And that basically makes it stronger and stiffer so it holds up better. And you can use that for some tricks. Now you want to be careful when you're grabbing random boxes. A lot of students will struggle. Sometimes you get the double layer, which is very difficult to cut. It's a lot stronger. You can use it for certain things, but it can be very difficult, even with good scissors. You need to upgrade to the heavier duty stuff, beyond just classroom scissors. So what will you make with cardboard? I'm not sure if it's ready for off-roading. In future videos, we're gonna focus on recycled materials because everyone likes using free stuff. Another cheap material, basically free material that we use a lot of, are plastic bags. Everybody has them. A lot of people have bags full of plastic bags, and you can do a lot with them. Here's something we're gonna take a look at. Different colors, different sizes, not really different shapes. A lot of good experiments you can do with these, and a lot of materials you can make. Clean plastic bottles are always worth saving for projects. And you can never have enough popsicle sticks around when it comes to making models. They're a little bit harder to find, but paper bags are another great resource. Thank you for sticking around. In the next part of the series, we're going to start looking at individual projects and things you can use. So don't go anywhere. Great projects will be here soon.